Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. I'm down at the allotment on a Friday straight after work, and I've just come to have a look over the cabbages, and it's not going very well for some of them. I'll just show you what I found. I'm not sure what the discoloration is on the leaves. Some of them started to go purple and white, but they're absolutely covered in aphids, and there's 6 along here, and there's only one that's not been affected, but I'm not sure what's causing the whiteness of the leaves, whether it's the aphids attacking them or something's weakened them and the aphids have moved in. But I'm just going to take these 6 up. I've got plenty more. I'm going to take them up and replace them with a 6 greyhound, and I'm not going to compost them. I'm just going to burn them because I don't know what's causing the problem. I don't want to put it in the compost and pass it on to everything else. So I shall just quickly pull those out. I can also assess whether there's any club root. I wouldn't have thought there would because they've only been in for a few weeks, but I just want to get on top of it and give them a good check. I've just very quickly pulled them all out, and the good news is there's no sign of any club root. The roots are looking really healthy actually. It's just unfortunate that whatever this is taking over, and you can see some of the leaves starting to get some sort of mold or fungus on them, which isn't ideal really, so I don't want that passing on to the rest of the crops. You can see there, they're starting to rot away. So I'm just going to get those sorted out, bag them up and put them on the burn pile. I don't want them mixing with the rest of the stuff. And then I'm going to replant 6 greyhound just in case. And then what I'm going to do after that is, these were the shallots that have overwintered and they've not done particularly well. I think there might be some sort of rot in the ground. It looks like onion white rot, which wouldn't surprise me. And the weeds are doing far better than the shallots, so I'm going to get that bed cleared out, and then I'm going to get some brassicas in, and hopefully that'll be the last bed of brassicas. So I'll just sort out the Primo 3 that I'm throwing away, get this weeded over and get it marked out. That's this bed planted up. I've got 3 rows of 3 Monclano Calabrese, 1 row of Parthenon cauliflower, and 2 rows of red Cannabis. And as I said earlier, I've got 2 rows of parsnips in there. Let's just hope they germinate. So I'm just going to put the net on now, and it's going to rain in a couple of hours, so I'm not going to bother watering them in. So I'll just fight with the net for a little while and I'll show you when it's finished. So that's that all netted up. Think of all the jobs on the allotment. Putting nets over beds is the absolute worst. They're a complete nightmare. They get caught on everything. They're never quite as big as you want them to be, but if it keeps the pigeons off and the cabbage whites away, I should be happy. So I've now got all my brassicas in for the moment. I may re-sow some later in the season, but I think I've got more than enough to be going on with. So these extras I'm going to put on the community table, and anyone that wants some can take them. So I've finished up at the second plot. I've got the brassicas in, and what I'm going to do now is, some of the shallots are starting to get scapes on them, which means they're pretty much ready to harvest, and I need the space anyway to get my sweet peppers in. So I'm going to dig up all the shallots on the one side of the Polytunnel and see if I can get a couple of peppers in the ground and then tomorrow morning I'm going to set up the other side of the irrigation system just to keep the polytunnel watered when I'm not here. Hello there, it's Saturday afternoon. I don't normally come down in the afternoon, and the plan today is to try and get some tomatoes and peppers into another self-watering system that I came up with last year, which worked quite well. So I've just got to collect all the bits, and then I'll talk you through and show you how I'm going to be doing it. I'll just try and talk you through what my thinking is. I've got these 2 litre pots that I've got off Amazon. They're only about £1 each, £1.25, and I've got several of these 12.5 inch pots and some of the wicking membrane. It's similar to an auto pot system, I believe they're called. What you do is cut the wick. I'll cut that roughly in half, and I'll drill a hole in the bottom of the pot, thread the wick up through the compost, and then put the end into there. And because they're almost perfect shape, the pot sits just on top of the reservoir. It's blowing around a little bit in the wind, but once it's full of water and compost, it won't go anywhere. And I'm just going to run 6 or 7 up the centre of the polytunnel so they're not in the way. I can still get around to work. And all I need to do every week is just check on the reservoir to make sure there's enough water in there. But with the amount of compost I'll be able to put in here, combined with the reservoir, that's going to last them the week that I'm away on holiday. So I'll just get the first one set up. I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do it, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Right, first job, pop a hole through here. There we go, that should be large enough to get the wicking through. This piece of wicking a little bit long enough. Simply pull through there, and that will sit in there. I'm going to cut a V into the top of it so I can spread it out around the pot. There we go, so when it's spread out, it'll go around both sides of the pot like that. So I'm just going to fill it up with some compost and then get it sorted. So I filled the tub up with my homemade compost, as you can see. Got the 2 bits of membrane either side. So I just need to make a hole in the middle to get the plant in. And that's a Mormand. So it's as simple as that. I'll just fill this up with some water and then pop it on top. And there we go, it's as simple as that. I think that is now officially the polytunnel full. Managed to get in 4 Marmon tomatoes, 1 indigo cherry, and 3 colour spectrum peppers, which are a bell pepper. So they should be all quite happily growing away in here for the next week. I didn't film the last section because someone was strimming right next to where I was working, so you couldn't hear a thing. But I've just put in the a row of Kent Blue, which were dwarf pea. I'm hoping they don't grow much higher than that. And then I've put in the King Tut, which apparently will grow to around about 6 foot tall, or just under 2 meters. So hopefully they should be away soon. The Oregon Sugar Snap that I put in last week are doing well, and these are not far off reaching the top of the cage. I'm just going to put a piece of string around the middle of them to tie them into the netting, because they're getting a little bit battered by the wind. So I should get that done, and then I'm going to go up to the other plot. I'm going to get some of the pongo beans in. Good morning, it's Sunday the 26th of May. I've just come down. It's been raining for about the past hour and a half pretty heavily, so I've waited for that to ease off a bit, and just as I've got down here the sun's come out, so that's a good sign. What I'm trying to get done today is I'm going to have a really good tidy out in the Polytunnel. I'm going to pot on anything that I want to keep, and then any extras that I don't need are all going to go on the community table, so I can hopefully get everything sorted ready. And then I'm going to put in the irrigation system onto the other side of the Polytunnel, and then that's everything set up ready to rock and roll. So I'm not going to mess around, I'm just going to get straight on with it. Well, I've been dodging inside and out between sunshine and showers. 1 minute it's red hot, the next minute it's absolutely pouring it down. But I've managed to get the potting on done, so I'll show you what I've done there. And I've only got a few plants left. I put a lot on the community table, and I'm going to take a few more up. And I've got some tomatoes that I'm going to try planting outside. I had a bit of a go last year, it didn't work particularly well, but hopefully this year will be different. So I've potted up all the marigolds, and I've snipped off the flower heads that were forming, just so they concentrate more on putting down roots and growth. I've done a beetroot into individual cells, Savoy cabbage there, some lupins, I'm not sure where they're going to get on. Turnip, these are a few brassicas that I'm keeping. I'm going to pot on the melon and pumpkin in a little while. And on this side of the bed, these are all dahlias, and these are hollyhocks. So I've managed to get it down considerably. I'm going to put the peas in a little while. I'm going to keep the basil and the flowers, but all the cabbages, brassicas, cauliflowers, I'm going to put on the community table. So we'll just go up to the second plot now, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with the tomatoes and peppers that I've got left over. Yesterday afternoon I didn't film it because it's pretty busy on the allotment, but I put in a row of pongo beans. They should be okay. I'm going to sow some more as sort of a follow-on crop, and just in case I lose any, which I probably will to slugs. And then I've put my canes in ready for my French beans that I'm going to grow up there. And in that bed there, I'm going to put runner beans. So this is going to have the tomatoes, basil and peppers that are left over. I'm just going to run 4 tomatoes up the centre and then spread the rest of it out. So I'll just set you up on the tripod and you can watch along. Outdoor tomatoes all planted up, tomatoes and peppers. I've just got some of the spring clips just to hold them in place for now, and as they fatten up and move on, I'll put a bit of string around them. So I've interplanted it with 2 different types of basil and some sweet peppers. They are rainbow mix on this side, and on the other side is sweet chocolate. So hopefully should all survive, and when I come back it'll be thriving. That's another bed ticked off, so I've just got this bed here and then this bit of a wasteland here to sort out. But I'm in no rush, it's not going to take long to sort that little lot out. I've got the wood for the path, I've got some slabs somewhere around, so I'll sort that out over the coming weeks. There's no rush for that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with today's progress. What I've got to do now is sort out the irrigation in the polytunnel. And that's the final job for the day done. Put the soaker hose in. It's now running on both sides of the polytunnel. I've just put it on for 10 minutes to make sure it's all working. It does appear to be. You can see little drips of water appearing. Yeah, it's working fine. So that's it for this week's vlog. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye and happy gardening.